the abridged version of the news this hour. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. The Senate has passed a record of 46 bills on one day before the end of the 7th National Assembly. The bills were earlier passed by the House of Representatives and had been awaiting concurrence from the Senate. Senators adopted a special procedure on the basis of a motion raised by Chairman of the Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Ita Enang, and 8 others to push through the bills. These include witness protection, anti-torture, and whistleblower protection bills. Meanwhile, the Senate has unanimously approved President Muhammadu Buhari's request for the appointment of 15 special advisors. This was on the basis of a motion raised by Senate leader Victor Ndomaigba. Senators approved the president's request through a voice vote when Senate President David Mark passed the question to them. The National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has listed some criteria now for the Senate presidential candidate. The NWC of the party rose after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari and agreed, among others, that the Senate president must come from the geopolitical zone with the second highest number of votes after the Northwest at the presidential election held on March 28. The meeting was further length agreed that the next Senate president must not have any corruption charges hanging on his or her neck and should be one of the most ranking senators in the current Fourth Republic. A senator who attended the meeting told our correspondent that the meeting also mandated the executive members of the party to within 3 days present a consensus candidate for the post of Senate president based on the listed criteria. During the inauguration of the 8th Senate, the two gladiators currently contesting the office of the Senate President are Senators Bukola Saraki, Kwara Central, and Ahmed Lawan from Yobe North. A 7th and re-elected member of the House of Representatives, Sheikh Abubakar, is dead. He died in the early hours of Wednesday in Katsina following a protracted illness. A 1-minute silence and prayer was observed for the repose of his soul at Wednesday's session. The House of Representatives thereafter adjourned in honor of the late federal lawmaker. President Muhammadu Buhari has requested the approval of the Senate to appoint 15 special advisors to assist him in his functions as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The President, in a letter addressed to Senate President David Mark, said his request was in accordance with the Section 151, subsections 1, 2, and 3 of the Nigerian Constitution. Well, we apologize for that mix-up. Moving on now, the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has promised to flush out bad elements from the police force. He made this pledge shortly after decorating 14 newly promoted senior police officers in Abuja. Arase maintained that the only way to ensure adequate policing across the country is to shun acts capable of bringing disrepute to the force. He reaffirmed his readiness to flush out bad elements in the force and charged the promoted officers to take the welfare of officers and men under their command serious. Responding on behalf of the decorated officers, Lucinda Kimo thanked the IG for counting them worthy of honor. They also promised to work in line with the objectives of the police management team. Meanwhile, Nigeria's defense chiefs are to work out modalities for the relocation of the command and control center of the war against insurgency to Maiduguri. This is in the aftermath of a lengthy meeting they held with President Muhammadu Buhari on the security situation in the country. Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ismail Jibril, who spoke with newsmen at the end of the closed-door meeting, said the security chiefs gave the president a full briefing on the situation. Samuel has more on the president's first security briefing. I understand we'll bring you details of that story subsequently. The newly elected president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has promised to improve on eradicating war and poverty in the continent. Adesina made this commitment while appreciating the governor of Ogun State on a CoreTV visit. CoreTV News' Olajumoke Olatunji has details.
The president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has been speaking on his mission for the development of the continent, saying that policies and programs that will pull the continent out of poverty, war, would be vigorously pursued during his term as the president. He made this known in Abeokuta, the Ogun State's capital, while on a thank-you visit to the Ogun State Governor, Ibikune Amosu, in his office. The new AFDP president called for efforts towards reviving the rural economies through agriculture and its value-added chains, just as a call for the rural integration in Africa to ensure peace and stability of the continent.
We will work very hard to develop programs that will end poverty on this continent and that will lift people out of it and create opportunities for shared prosperity all across our continent. Obviously, I think critical issues of infrastructure will be important. Energy for all is going to be important. Electricity is going to be important. Very critical to build private sector, to create wealth all across our continent.
For his own part, the governor of Ogun State has expressed confidence in the ability of Adesina to make a big difference in his new assignments.
Made us proud. We are happy that this is coming at this time. Indeed, the way the structure of the thing is what the same day, really, I think 28, that's 29, so your tenure will be the reference point, really. That's our case.
The governor further appreciated the former Minister of Agriculture for standing out among his peers during the last administration, which he says is a good sign that all hope is not lost. Olajumoke Olatuji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
Boko Haram has dismissed recent claims by the military that it's been restricted to a small part of the Sambisa forest. The insurgent group also insists that it's still in control of most of the town and villages it seized in northeast Nigeria. An unidentified Boko Haram member said this in a video posted on YouTube, but which does not show the group's leader, Abubakar Shekau. The video was released at a time the insurgents have stepped up their hit-and-run attack on Maiduguri, Borno State. The unidentified speaker, whose face was covered by a headscarf, also called the four nations, which have been involved in a joint offensive against the group, as the line coalition partners. He added that a 4-hour drive around Sambisa forest would prove that the game's reserve is still under Boko Haram control. The video, which bears the logo Islamic State in West Africa, is the first video released by Boko Haram since February, when Shekau vowed to disrupt Nigeria's elections. Nigeria's defense authorities are yet to comment on the latest video from Boko Haram. At least goods and property worth millions of naira were lost in a fire incident at Iyano-Kwaja area of Lagos yesterday. The inferno happened when a tanker carrying petrol fell at the Iyano-Kwaja Link Bridge. Our correspondent Abiola Oluwole was at the scene of the incident, and this report is presented from our studios.
As Nigerians continue to look forward to sustainable solutions to the perennial fuel scarcity, road accidents involving petrol tanker drivers have continued to be another challenge in the quest towards ensuring the safety of road users. A tank containing 33 liters of petrol skidded off the road at Iyano-Kwaja area of Lagos State, leading to a fire outbreak. The director of the Lagos State Fire Service, Idowu Fadikwe, says it took the prompt response of his men after a distress call from a resident around 1 a.m. to combat the spread of the inferno.
The fuel spilled into 4 different streets, and it has caused a lot of havoc. We engaged on active firefighting operation, and with the help of the public, we were able to quickly douse the fire.
Fadikwe says 44 shops, 17 vehicles and 6 tricycles were raised in the incident.
No life lost, but there were some people that sustained injuries and were treated by Lasambos.
Residents who lost properties worth millions of naira to the inferno lament the impact of the unfortunate incident.
Everything, all my goods, everything burned. I went to market yesterday. All my money, I borrow money, I go market, buy everything, put on yesterday, Monday. In the night, everything burned. I don't sell anything yesterday. I don't bring even pin, I don't bring out. Everything burned.
After seeing the level of damage caused by the fire, Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode condemned the lawlessness of some tanker drivers on the road, while assuring those affected of adequate relief response by the government.
While we're trying to address all that, we will ensure that all those who have lost properties and even lost their shops will quickly find a way to let them get back to their normal business life. Immediately I will receive the report on this fire incident in the next 48 hours, and will ensure that we do something positively so that life can come back to normal here.
According to experts, moving inflammable material through the rail and pipeline are the only effective ways to prevent a reoccurrence of fuel tanker-related inferno across the country. This, they say, will curb avoidable loss of lives and property.
Outside Nigeria for some sports stories now, Real Madrid have confirmed the appointment of Rafael Benitez as the coach of its first team on a 3-year contract. The former Napoli boss replaces Carlo Ancelotti at the Bernabeu after announcing his exit from the Italian side last week. Real Madrid have confirmed that Rafa Benitez is the new coach, replacing the sacked Carlo Ancelotti at the Santiago Bernabeu. The 55-year-old Spaniard was the overwhelming favorite to be handed the role, and they announced last week that it was to end this 2-year stint with Napoli after Sunday's final Serie A game against Lazio. Madrid Vice President Eduardo Fernandez then admitted hours before Napoli's 4-2 loss that Benitez will be there next. On Wednesday, Benitez finally signed a contract with the Blancos, which ties him to the Spanish capital until the summer of 2018. And that wraps it on the news this hour. Do join us at the top of the hour for a more comprehensive bulletin. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye.